Hi, everyone. Pastor Sam here. Sorry I haven't been able to do a devotional for a few weeks, but sitting outside enjoying this beautiful December weather. I hope you get a chance to do the same. And I thought of something I wanted to share. Found an old golf ball, and it got me thinking. I know many of you play golf, many of you may not, of course, which, by the way, if you don't play golf, good choice. But it's a silly game. It's a silly game for a lot of reasons. But one is that it is a game that requires a lot of patience. It's at least something I always think of when I think of playing golf. And, of course, patience is a fruit of the spirit. And so I was thinking, well, maybe there's a spiritual angle here. And in a lot of ways, there really is. And whatever we choose to do, whatever hobby or way we spend our time, a lot of things in life require patience. And when Paul mentions that in Galatians, this idea of the fruit of the Spirit being patience in our lives, another way we can translate that word that maybe is a little more accurate is long suffering, endurance. How do we endure through trials? How do we endure through suffering and pain? Which is actually what I'm going to be talking about this coming Sunday. And now I don't want to compare a game of golf to suffering and trials. It's a game, it's fun, but many things in life have parallels to the deeper things in life. And we all need to understand long suffering. We all need to understand patience. We all need to understand how to grow in these areas in our life. And in fact, recently I was in the grocery store and our kids were sort of acting up and sort of going crazy. And the guy sort of asked, how's it going? I said, it's just one of those days. And he said, well, I'm a new dad. I have a 3-month-old at home. What advice would you give someone, brand new baby? And I sort of laughed for a minute and thought, patience and practice, because you won't be the perfect dad to start. You won't have the patience you need when you're first starting. You'll lose your patience. You'll lose your cool sometimes. You will say or do maybe the wrong things sometimes. But you'll learn and you'll get better at it when you practice it. When you have patience, you'll explore deeper, richer, longer ways to be patient as well. And one of the things that's true about life for all of us is that we all encounter hardship. We all encounter suffering of one kind or another. And the thing I always wonder with Christians is, how do we learn to suffer well? Many of us struggle with that. We don't want to learn to suffer well. We don't want to face our struggles. We don't want to face the pain and the hurt and the difficulties of life. But part of what we need to do in life is two things. We need to face it when those things come up. As many of us know, we can't run from our problems. We try. But then we also need to practice patience in prayer and in faith and in many of the other things we know that we need to do, that we can't run from it. And one of the things I noticed, I looked up in this book I really like. It's a book of writings from the Desert Fathers. It's called The Roots of Christian Mysticism. And really fascinating book. But one of the things the writer points out about when we encounter trials in life is that to get through trials, says one must identify oneself with Christ in his agony when he said not only, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? But also, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. When Jesus was on the cross, he quoted Psalm 22 and said, God, why have you forsaken me? Why have you put me here? But then he also said, I commit my spirit into your hands, Father. Much like the prayer of Gethsemane when he prayed, take this cup from me, but not what I will, but what you will. And this, I think, is one of the secrets to long suffering, to endurance, to patience. To commit our spirit, to commit our life, to commit everything about us into God's hands. To let go of control, which is very difficult. To trust God, because we talked about last week in the sermon with faith, right? We want to control, we want to know the outcomes, but that's not what Jesus and God calls us to. And even Jesus in the scriptures multiple times had to pray this, had to practice this. God, into your hands I commit my spirit. God, not what I will, but what you will. And so I hope and pray that whatever you're going through right now, big or small, say that prayer. Be honest about how you feel, like we talked about last Sunday. But then also commit your spirit and your life and your future and your circumstances into God's hands, knowing that this is God's will for you. It takes patience, it takes practice, it's difficult, but it's good. I hope you find that encouraging. I hope you're doing well. Like I said, I hope you enjoy this beautiful December weather we're having, and I hope to see you soon.